I've been performing rolling fasts now for 419 days. It's how I lost 80 pounds in less than 5 months and have kept it off 9 months later. No pills, no meds, no injections, no surgery, just fasting. Even at 44 years old, I was able to lose all this weight that I've had for my entire life through just fasting. Now I know I say the same things over and over and over in every single video, but it honestly doesn't change the value in its worth. That 80 pounds that I've lost is no joke, and what I've learned from day 1 to day 419 is where the real value is. Even though I can tend to be all or nothing about particular things, for the most part, when it comes to fasting and weight loss and just making sure that I'm not getting out of control in that way, that is a lot more in control than what it used to be. And let's not forget that 80 pounds that I lost isn't just about a number on the scale. It's also the fact that I've reversed my type 2 diabetes, my high blood pressure. In terms of just my health in general, I just feel so much better. I'm not fatigued. I can run a flight up of stairs if I wanted to and be okay. I can be a lot more active, a lot more energetic. I can sleep well. I don't have to wake up every 2 hours to go pee because my blood sugar is so high. I don't have to worry about being somewhere and telling myself, oh my God, it's so hot in this room, even though it's like 70 or 71 degrees. Because for me, I used to have it so cold and the wind blowing in my face just to feel okay. I know the holidays were tough for a lot of us, me included, but that's where imperfect consistency comes into play. On November 25th, a few days before Thanksgiving, I weighed in at 147.6 pounds. I ended up going to Japan for 2 weeks, gained 13 pounds, shooting up to 160.2 pounds. But did I give up fasting altogether and throw away my healthy habits? No, of course not. I showed up, I continued my walks, I continued my strength training, and on top of it all, I performed 4 65-hour fasts in a row and found myself back in the high 140s. I also ate on Christmas Eve and on Christmas Day, and I'll tell you, they were not the cleanest refeeds by any means. And I jumped back up to 159.4 pounds on December 26th, which was 2 days ago. And so what about then? Did I give up fasting altogether and walk away from my healthy habits this time around? No, of course not. I'm currently 62 hours and 15 minutes fasted since my last refeed on Christmas Day. And this morning I weighed in at 149.8 pounds. That's a lot better than eating through the Thanksgiving holiday all the way up to Christmas, and for most of us, probably just eating and keeping up those bad habits all the way until the new year. And then when the new year comes, here we are trying to start over instead of just practicing imperfect consistency. And I think it's really important to point out here that it isn't just about completing fasts. I think so many of us are just focused on fasting and nothing else at all. Yes, of course, I run a fasting channel. I'm going to talk about fasting. Fasting will always be my foundation. But I think you and I both know I no longer perform 90+ hour fasts back to back over and over. I'm not doing 165, 168 hour fasts. I'm not fasting for 4, 5, 6, 7 days at a time. That's not to say that I won't in the future. That's not to say I'm gonna try something different, but it isn't something prolonged fast in that length is just not part of my routine at the moment. But because I've had to do shorter fasts now means that I have to work on my other levers of weight loss. That means I've had to clean up my diet. That means I've had to shorten my refeeds. That means I've had to pay more attention to my cardio and my strength training. That also means that I've really put a lot of attention when it comes to my sleep and getting good sleep quality. And in the last 419 days, a lot of it has to do with my mental, making sure that I am feeling okay, that I'm not feeling overwhelmed, that I'm not feeling too anxious. That's not to say that those moments don't happen, but I'm trying to find better ways to just feel good about myself mentally. I will say that this entire month has probably been the most relaxed I've had in terms of fasting and eating. I haven't had a 2-week vacation since I started my journey, or at least a vacation that lasted this long. And on top of that vacation, having the holidays here as well. And on Christmas Day, that was probably the hardest day for me. Emotionally, it was tough. Mentally, I wasn't in the best place. And I found myself eating foods, a lot of processed foods that I shouldn't have eaten. And I don't really want to say shouldn't. I can eat whatever I want, but I went the wrong way about it. What I mean by that is typically when I do refeed, it's usually protein packed, fiber packed, just healthy foods at the beginning, meats, vegetables, fruits, whole foods is what I'm trying to say. And on Christmas Day, it was none of that. When I went to my mom's house to celebrate for Christmas, it was a lot of fried food. That's what I started my refeed with. And by the end of it, I was just eating the most processed shit I could find. And when I tried to eat my last meal, my last refeed meal, I wasn't even really feeling it because I was just so loaded up on cookies and candy and just, again, the most unhealthy shit you could imagine. I continued to tell myself at least it wasn't a binge, and it wasn't, but I still could have done it a lot better. It is something that I will continue to take with me in the future. And doing that one day out of however long it's been since I've really just had an out of control day, it's not the worst thing in the world. And it's the reason that I was able to just jump back into another 65-hour fast like I'm on right now, because I'm in a routine. I have built that healthy habit in me. For the entire month of January, I have no vacations planned, so I'm just gonna keep pushing on my routine. And I'm gonna keep reminding myself and reminding all of you that this isn't just about the weight on the scale, this is about building better habits. It's about losing excess body fat, adding additional muscle, and just making sure my health markers are optimal. Don't lose sight of what's really important here. This is more than just a number on the scale. So for me, I think one of the biggest takeaways that I've learned over these last 419 days is the fact that I do not have to do things in a black and white manner. I don't have to do things with an all or nothing personality. But I also realize that having that type of personality doesn't change overnight. You just don't change like that overnight, especially when it's been built into you for years or decades. For me, I think one of the realizations of where I'm at today is the fact that I don't let the number on the scale affect me like it used to. The number on the scale is a data point. The number on the scale, yes, can fuck with my head every now and then, but at the end of the day, it is not the be-all, end-all. I've said that many times and I still believe in that today. I've realized that me putting on 10 pounds, 15 pounds, 20 pounds can come on like that. And at the same time, it can come off with a relatively short fast. It makes me realize that that number on the scale is such a load of shit and that I can't let it have that kind of power over me. And it shouldn't affect my actions based on what I'm looking at on the scale. I cannot act on what the number says on the scale. Getting my DEXA scan done back in November was a really good way to kind of remind me that the scale is a bunch of shit, right? Get myself on that DEXA scan, for them to say, hey, you're 145 pounds, 29 pounds of that is fat, but 111 pounds of that is muscle, was a real eye-opener. It made me realize, okay, what does the scale matter? I just need to get more fat off of me and get more muscle on me. It made me realize about my other non-scale victories, the way my clothes fit, the fact that I can fit into a child's extra large shirt, that I can buy clothes at the boys section because I'm small enough to fit in them. Also, for anyone who's wondering, the reason I wear boys clothes is because I'm short. I'm 5'3", just FYI. I think there are a lot of people who think that what I do might be outrageous or extreme, but people also don't see the whole story. They don't know what my life was like before. They didn't know about the consistent binging day in and day out, all of the money I'd spend, all of the relationships that I had lost or broke because my depression, my eating disorder took over my life. But for a lot of people, they also haven't seen that even though I've been recording my journey since day one, that my actions, my decisions, the things that I've shared has all been a learning experience. Day one Jerome is so different than day 419 Jerome. And that's why when people come to me and they want to do these huge goals and have these huge successes, I want people to have that. I think that's really important. But at the same time, I also want people to realize that there is so much to learn in between that time. There are so many other successes. There are so many other wins that are just equally as important. If somebody did a 50-day fast, sure, they'd probably lose a ton of weight. But will they have learned about eating properly? Will they have learned about what happens when they fail? What happens when they don't eat the cleanest? What happens if they don't get to the time they need to get when they're fasting? Will they learn what experience is like to get back on another fast after a refeed? Will they learn what it's like to go on a week vacation and come back after gaining 8 pounds and being okay with it? Will they learn to give themselves grace? For many of us, me included, my answer back then was to just do it perfectly or just walk away from it completely. When you walk away from it completely, you learn nothing. You only know how to do the good things and you don't learn how to pick yourself back up. And that's why for me, staying accountable and showing up is one of the most important things that you can do. If you're struggling, if you're having a hard time, please take this into consideration. If you need somebody to help you through coaching, yes, I offer coaching. There is a link in the description. Whether it comes to fasting or weight loss or just accountability, please reach out to me. I'll talk to you all soon. Don't forget, I'm live streaming tomorrow, so maybe I'll see you then. Take care, everyone.